Hello, Internet, and welcome back to the Story Nook. Today, we are going to be reading Tales from Workers from several different subreddits. Our first one coming from Tales from the Front Desk. So go ahead and get your tea, your water, your hot cocoa, whatever it is, your coffee, and join us. I currently have a little bit of leftover blueberry pomegranate lemonade from Wendy's in this car that I'm going to drink. It's watered down from ice, I believe. Our first story comes from user Other Cantaloupe 4765. I'm still... let me read the title first. I forgot to put up the window screen, so I'm getting a glare from the sun that's evil. I had a guest try to kill herself yesterday, and then changed her mind. Probably should have put this later on the video because YouTube guidelines and whatever. We'll bleep that out. I will do my best to remember. I'm still trying to process it. I thought writing about it might help. I had a young woman in her early 20s come in last night. She stopped at the desk in the evening and was obviously very upset about something. She was from around the area and said she needed to get away from people and be alone. I asked if everything was okay, concerned there might be domestic violence or something going on that she needs help or resources for. She said everything was fine, she just needed to get away from everything and be alone. So I found a room for her at the end of the hall on the top floor. That's something I try to do for all young women traveling alone. It puts them in a spot where there won't be constant foot traffic and people outside their door, which I know from experience can make us jumpy and anxious. I gave her our 10% off rate, and she asked if she could pay in cash. I told her that was fine. Honestly, I guess I'm a girl, but I would prefer not to be on the top floor, because I feel like the top floor, there's less exits on the top floor. I like being on the bottom floor. I also have a fear of heights, but I like knowing where my exits are, and knowing that pretty much anywhere on the bottom ground floor can be an exit if you make it. Not so much on a top floor. But that's just my experience. I guess for other people, they would... If they felt really jumpy and anxious, would you want to be on the top floor? Let me know in the comments below. I'm curious. The only luggage she had with her was a smaller book bag. She opened her bag and pulled out some cash, mostly crumpled $1 bills, with two 20s thrown in. It came to $49, and she asked to put the rest on her card. No problem. I told her I was here if she needed anything at all, even if she just needed to talk to someone. I didn't see her again until a few hours later when she came back down to the desk, off balance, breathing unevenly, and had been crying. She told me she needed to check out because she decided to go to the ER. I asked if everything was okay, and she just said, "I'm fine. I took a bunch of pills to OD, and I can't stop throwing up, and I changed my mind. I'm checking myself into the ER." I didn't know what to say. I told her I understood and that I hoped she felt better eventually, and then I gave her back the cash, canceled her reservation without penalty, and told her goodbye. Did no one drive the sick lady to the hospital? Because I would have said, fuck it, I'm sending somebody with her to the hospital to make sure she doesn't die on her way there. But yeah. I checked the room and found only the bed and toilet used. She'd obviously been sick. I took the room out of our inventory until housekeeping could clean it the next day. My concern is, why did no one take this poor girl to the ER themselves and make sure she actually made it there? This is my brain. I indicated in my shift recap email that she checked out, and I made the personal decision to fully refund her even though she used the room. I wrote down a few more details about the situation, sealed it in an envelope, and put it in my manager's mailbox. I wanted to be discreet about it. I came today and asked my manager if she read it. She said yes and told me she personally would have charged her for the room anyway, instead of refunding it like I did because the room had been taken out of inventory and cleaned. I made it clear this girl had purposely OD'd, and my manager shrugged and said she's the one who decided to take all those. It was her decision, and she voluntarily dirtied the room. Your manager's a bitch. A heartless asshole. No, my manager is fantastic in so many ways, very supportive of the front desk staff, and we have a lot of similar perspectives regarding both our work and personal lives. I've worked with her for over a year now. It really kind of shocked me. A lot. To hear her say something so cold like that. Sorry, I had to fix that. It was connected to my computer and being stupid. So I will edit that part out later. Which is around 6 minutes. Alright. To hear her say something so cold like that, it made me angry and left me feeling alone and unsupported. I had a nightmare about this young woman last night. It's not as bad as walking in on a deceased person, for sure, but it really shook me up a lot. I'll be bringing it up with my therapist this week. I have so many questions. I hope she will be okay. I also hope that the poor girl will be okay. Your manager's a cunt. Because how do you not show any empathy or shit? But you know, people in those corporate blah blah blah, we're better than you bullshit situations. Like, I know for a fact, like, I do suffer from, like, suicidal thoughts every now and then. It's just a thing. My way of going is not through, that, because, like, I have thought of how I would like to go. But I also know, like, people, they go on cruises, some of them check into hotels. I know it's a thing, and it sucks. Your manager sucks. I'm a little bit upset that no one went with the girl to make sure she made it to the ER, considering she was off balance, because to me, I'm just like, I don't think she would be able to drive. I would have sent somebody with her. But, yeah. On to our next story, which will hopefully be a little bit lighter based off the title, comes from Tales from Your Server, posted by user Alternative Run 6116. Lying to a customer about cheese. I'm hoping this one will be funny. I really am. The restaurant I worked at had a cheese board, and the cheeses on the board would change constantly. Like sometimes even multiple times in the same night. Moreover, all the cheeses had dumb long names like Vermont Salisbury Hill Farms Triple Cream Chevere. And nonsense like that. Plus, they weren't listed anywhere. You had to go find the chef to ask what they were. Once I had the whole bar section to myself, and all 12 tables were full. So I was racing. Some guy ordered the cheese plate for dessert, so I brought it over and started rattling off the cheeses at lightning speed. I looked at the cheese on the plate and didn't recognize it, so I just said, and this one is, it's Parmesan. And then I started sprinting away. Wait a minute, I heard from behind me after 3 frantic steps. I looked back. The guy with the cheese board was looking at me with his big gray mustache all smushed up into the center of his face. Parmesan? That doesn't sound right. And then he started guffawing with the rest of the table. I took 1 step back toward, and I said, well, that's because it's goat Parmesan. And then I turned around and got the F out of there as fast as I could. I still feel a little bit bad about lying to the guy about the mystery cheese. And I know some people here will tell me I should go to actual real-life hell for lying to him. I personally don't think so. But I did what I had to do in the moment. I was slammed and did not have time to go find the chef out back or in the office or in the walk-in or whatever she was. Have any of you guys ever lied to a customer out of necessity? Oftentimes, yes. Because I'm just like, can't you see I'm busy? I am not going to be able to help you. Sorry, my dude. But also, they should just keep the cheeses... Like, it's nice knowing, like, the cheeses are fresh and different every day, but at the same time, Send it out with a list on it or something, like a little picture guide, like on the box of chocolates. That's all I can think of. Probably because it's November, and now that it's November, it's all like, time to bring out the Christmas stuff, and your brain's gonna remember the box of chocolates with the assorted things, with the pictures. Y'all know what I'm talking about, hopefully. If not, who knows. Our next story is from Tales from the Front Desk, posted by user SavingsJello5926. Would you charge your guest if they accidentally bled during their periods on hotels' beds? I am not a native English speaker, so forgive me for any mistakes I do. This happened to me 5 years ago. My period had started in the middle of the night, and I bled a few blots on the Airbnb sheet. The owner not only charged me extra, but shamed me by making the front office and everyone who works in it aware of this issue. He assumed that was my virginity blood since I was staying with my boyfriend. I was embarrassed, but more so for my boyfriend because we were staying in an Orthodox country that looks down on premarital sex. Thankfully, the Airbnb was on my side and didn't charge me. Edit. Menstruation is considered disgusting in my culture, even though it's a very normal thing. 50 to 100 years ago, in some houses, women had to live in a makeshift tent just outside the house, but within the same property, for the duration of their periods. It is very common for the menstruating women to not be allowed to cook or enter the kitchen. This especially happened in what we call joint families, which is the kind of family unit that was made up of separate families living together under the same roof. So yeah, I personally don't know if they charge you if, like, you bleed blood on their sheets. I mean, those are sheets that they might not be able to get those blood stains out, depending on, like, how much you bleed, the consistency and when it gets caught and all that. That owner, very rude about shaming you in front of everyone for it. Let's go read some comments. And I don't have, internet, so I apologize for people on visual. Oh, my husband's back. Never mind, we'll end here. Hi, welcome back.
UPS is about to hire drivers.
Woo!